Do you want to create stunning videos with CapCut but don't know where to start? You're in the right place. In this video series, I'll guide you through everything you need to know about video editing in CapCut so you can turn your ideas into professional looking videos for your social media, your YouTube channel, or even career opportunity. Whether you're a complete beginner or have some experience, this course will help you master CapCut and take your video editing skills to the next level. So, let's get started! To start, let me give you a quick overview of what we'll cover in this video. First, we'll go through CapCut's interface so you know where everything is. Then we will dive into video stabilization, how to improve audio quality, everything you need to know about titles and subtitles. I'll explain what keyframes are and why they matter and how to use them. And we will also cover slow motion and speed ramps, video transition, masking, color grading, motion tracking, essential graphics animation, and finally, how to export your video. So join me on this journey and let's unlock your creative potential with CapCut. CapCut Interface. Okay, so on my computer I'm going to open CapCut. Now here we have a recent project that I have been working on, but we're gonna start fresh and click New Project. So this is the CapCut interface and it's primarily made up with 4 windows, 3 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Up here at the top left, we have what we called Media Pool. It does have other tabs like audio, text, stickers, effects and more. We're gonna cover this later on in this course, but right now let's just import some videos. I can click import right here and that is gonna bring up this window where we're gonna find the clips that we're gonna work on. I have a little folder here called Dolomites from a trip this year. I'm gonna select these 3 clips and import them. So now you can see this is where the clips are stored in CapCut, and clicking any of these is actually gonna bring us to the player right here, which is central window on the top. This is for previewing clips that we imported, and it's also for playing back the primary video that we are editing. That brings us down to the bottom window here, which is the timeline. All video editing programs works the same, where we have one primary timeline where we drag our clips into. You can trim them, cut them, edit them together and create our final finished product. So to actually start, we're gonna take our first clip here and you can either drag it down or just click on this plus icon in the lower right corner and the clip will drop down in the timeline. And now you can see we have this right here, which is our playhead and indicates where we are in the clip. If we hit spacebar, we're gonna play through this video, and by hitting the spacebar again, we're gonna pause. If we want to bring in the second clip, we can do the same as before. Just move the playhead at the end and click the plus icon of the clip you want to add or drag it down. Now when we hit play, it will just play one clip into another. Finally, we have our third clip. I'm gonna bring it down to the timeline, same as before, by clicking plus icon in the lower right corner. Or we can actually be specific and choose just the small section of the clip. You can see it is highlighted here, and if we come over to the left hand side, I can create the in point by dragging this little window further just to the part of the clip that we want to pull in. And we can also drag the end to wherever it is we want to stop the clip. Right there we have defined our little selection. Click on that and drag it into the timeline. Now that we have our clips arranged on the timeline, here are a couple very basic features of the timeline. If you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can come over here on the top right corner and use this little tool right here. We can zoom in to make more fine detail adjustments or zoom out if we want to see some more space. If we want to drag clips around or rearrange them, it is as simple as selecting the clip and moving into the timeline to rearrange things. Now let's say we want to shorten the clip, that is what we call trimming. If I select this first clip on both the end and at the beginning, I can grab it, slide and get rid of some space or add some more of the video back in. That is called trimming. If we want, we can also create a cut point in our video. So let's say we only wanted this first half of the clip right here and we want to delete this second half. All we have to do is to come up to the timeline control right here, click it, and now we have split that clip into 2. I can select this back half and hit delete. If we want to undo the last command, we can just click this arrow that is pointing to the left, and if I click it again, it will delete our cut point. Just like most applications on the internet, if we want to undo what I just did, you can just use your keyboard shortcuts by hitting Command or Ctrl+Z. Now, a couple of other really helpful tools here. We obviously have the split feature, which we just covered, but we also have delete left and delete right. These are really simple, basically saying that wherever your playhead is, if you do delete left, it's going to delete everything from the playhead to the left. So what I have highlighted right here is going to get deleted when I hit this button right here, delete left. Now we will undo that. The opposite of this is delete right. So if we move our playhead, everything to the right of our playhead up until the next cut point is going to get deleted. We will also undo that right now. What's even faster to coming up to this button and hitting the actual split button is right there. You can see it says Ctrl+B. That's the keyboard shortcut to add a split or cut in our clip. So if I'm just over here, wherever the playhead is, if I hit Command or Ctrl+B, it is going to create that cut point, which I think it is very fast and efficient way to edit. Now, for the time being, we'll undo that. So instead of actually hitting the button, you can see that the shortcut for delete left is Q. I'm going to hit that on my keyboard and then it will delete the left portion of the clip. Let's also undo that. And the same goes for deleting right. For that, I will hit W on my keyboard and it will delete the right portion of the clip. Again, I will undo that. And while we are still on the timeline, there are some more features that we can cover. Up on the far left right here, we have the tool that we are actually using. Right now, we are using the Select tool. Selecting is really straightforward. You just click on the stuff and that's what you are selecting. The Split tool or the Blade tool allows us to create a cut point anywhere we hover our mouse. You can see here, I'm just creating a cut point after cut point after cut point. Really helpful if you obviously want to make a ton of cut points and maybe delete portion of your video. But for the time being, we'll hit Command Z and go back. And after that, we have Select Leftward. That means if you use this tool and you select a clip, it's going to select that clip and anything to the left. If I hit this middle clip, I'm selecting that and anything to the left. You can change that tool to Select Rightward and you do the opposite. Select that clip and anything to the right. This is helpful if you're editing a lot of clips at once, like a long YouTube video. Now, each of these have keyboard shortcuts associated with them. For instance, if you wanted to get the Select tool back up, all you'd have to do is hit A and that brings us back. Now, while we still have this clip selected, we can obviously delete it. We can freeze frame it, which essentially creates a frozen frame here if we wanted to stop the time. I'll hit Command Z. We can also flip the clips. If we select this, it is going to load and now it will actually flip the clip, so it will play backwards. You can see it here. Now the clip is obviously playing backwards. We'll hit Command Z to go back for now. This button allows us to mirror the clip, so it just flips it if you wanted to have person walk in a different direction. Up next we have Rotate, so this is just going to add a 90-degree rotation very quickly. Next we have the Crop tool. If we wanted to essentially like shrink our video or maybe reframe it on our subject, we could do that. So now it's a little bit more zoomed in. We'll hit Exit for now because we don't need that now. Here we also have the Remove Filler Words feature, which is associated with the Pro membership, but for the time being we don't even have to worry about that. Now, last but not least, with the timeline here, we do have some more buttons down here. If you wanted to record a voiceover, you would select this. Up next we have the main track magnet. So right now it is selected, and if I move any of the clips, you can see that it's always just going to magnet right back to the end. And I can't create any open space here. If we turn this off, we can now drag the clip and it's no longer going to magnetically attach one to other. Normally I leave that on when we are just getting started. Up next we have the auto snapping feature right here. Just make sure that your clips always snap exactly to the next clip or the clip before it. I will usually leave that on. And then we have preview access, which right now we don't have it enabled. The only way to play through the video is to drag the playhead or hit the actual spacebar to play. When we have this enabled, anywhere we hover our mouse is actually going to play through as a preview. I usually leave that off. One more thing you should know about the timeline is the fact that it works with different layers. So right now you can see on my screen we are only dealing with one primary layer. Let's say we hit the clip we wanted to overlay on top of this clip. All we need to do is select one of the clips, bring it up a layer, and now we can place it there. And you'll see that when I play through this, whatever is on top is always given a priority. So this clip will play first, and then as the playhead comes over to the next clip, it will now come up on the timeline. You can see the transition here. In the same way that we have layers for video, we actually also have the layers for audio. But we will touch on that when we get to the music and sound effects. But just to know, if you did come up to the audio tab here to grab a song, you would bring that down. Now you can see that the audio lives on the layers beneath the video. And just like videos, we could create multiple layers of audio by dragging our clips and creating new layers. And just so you're aware, there are some features over here on the left side of the timeline. Namely, we have mute, and then we have hide track, and we have lock track. And if you look very closely at the timeline here, you will actually see that there is a slight audio waveform on the very bottom of those clips. I will quickly mute the layers with the videos by clicking the mute button on the left. Up after that, you have this very basic eyeball control. When you click on it, it's just going to hide everything in that layer. You can enable it back on. And then last but not least, we have the lock track. And when you lock a certain layer, it means you can't make edits to it. I can't come and click on the end of this track and make any trim adjustments. If I hit Ctrl B to try to make a split, nothing happens. It just protects the layer to make sure you don't accidentally change anything or delete a clip, for example. Coming back to audio, if you wanted to adjust the audio, you could grab this little line, increase the audio or decrease the audio. You can also control the volume of the audio in the window on the top right. However, we'll touch on that stuff more later in the music and the sound effects training. Now, when you have nothing selected, that's going to show you your project setting. So we have our project name, where the project is stored, the aspect ratio of the video, the resolution, the color space that our clip was filmed in, the frame rate of the project, and a few other settings that aren't really that important. If you ever wanted to change any of the settings, all you have to do is come down to Modify, select it, and now we can change the name of our project. We will always keep our media in the original place. If you wanted to change the ratio like into 16:9 to be a YouTube video, we can do that here. As far as our project resolution goes, I usually leave it in the default settings. Our project frame rate is really important. We want to make sure this aligns with what we shot our clips in. So, if we filmed at 24 frames per second, or we know we want to edit at 24 frames per second, we will leave it there. You could also do 30 frames per second, that is common frame rate for social media. And then we will leave it our color space exactly where it is. That's just going to match exactly the color space of our first clip that we dragged into the timeline was. And last but not least, another really helpful feature here, you can come over to the Performance tab. If you have a computer that is slowing down and it's laggy and the video playback is choppy, you can actually turn this proxy setting on and it will help increase the speed at which your computer can actually edit the video. Definitely something to keep in your back pocket. I'm going to leave it as it is and we'll hit save. So that is how to see your project settings and make any changes. But if we actually select one of those clips, you'll now see that this window has changed and it brings up a bunch of tabs that allows us to make changes to that clip that we have selected. So in the video tab, we have some very basic controls like our scale. I can change that. We can also see the position and rotation. If I change the position, you can see it changed the X and Y values right here. We can rotate our clip. All valuable tools that we will cover later on. You don't need to get overwhelmed by it now. And on top of that, we have also some audio controls. Some speed controls if you wanted to create slow motion, some pre-built animation that we can use, and then the color adjustment tab if you wanted to do any color correction, color grading, or use any LUTs, which are color grading presets. Moving on from that window, actually we have the central window here, which is the player. It's obviously going to let you play your videos, but we also have some controls here. In the bottom right, for example, we can change the ratio, so we can change it to 16:9. If you're editing a YouTube video, that would be great. We could also take the scale of this clip, increase it, and now it will actually fit into that 16:9 aspect ratio. However, by zooming in on that clip, we have effectively reduced the resolution, and it won't be as clear as it was before, so I try not to zoom in that much on my clips. Either way, we'll hit Command Z a couple of times to go back where we were. Now, moving on from that button, we have this right here, which allows us to play our video back in full screen, which is pretty cool. As far as the basic functionality of this app is concerned, that is really all you need to know. But if you are serious about mastering CapCut and creating professional quality videos, I've got something special for you. I've created a complete CapCut course that takes you from beginner to pro, covering everything from the basics to advanced editing techniques. You'll learn how to make your videos stand out even if you've never edited before. And at the end, you'll be able to edit videos like famous people, Ali Abdaal, Devin Jato, or Alex Hermosi. So if you're ready to become a pro, just click on the link in the description and join my course. Video stabilization. Here we are in CapCut, and I already imported those 3 clips and put them into our timeline. As you can see, in the first 2 clips, I'm walking with my son on his way to baseball practice, and in this first video, we are walking on the flat surface, so the video is just a bit shaky, while in the second, the footage is even shakier because we are going down some stairs. The third clip is totally normal clip in my house explaining some things about the CapCut. So if we go back to our first clip, highlight the clip, you'll see how easy CapCut made it for us to stabilize the video. What we need to do is just go up to the video tab and on basic, scroll down and check stabilize box. Now, sometimes it takes a few seconds to process the video, but in our case, that was really quick. So if we play this now, you'll see the difference from the original and corrected stabilized footage. However, if you look closely on the top edge, you'll see wobbly effect, which kinda ruins the video a bit. To correct that, you can go back to stabilization and instead of recommended, you choose minimum cut, and that will actually add a minimum stabilization and minimize that wobbly effect on the edges. And if you ask me, I would rather go with less wobbliness than having a totally stabilized video with lots of wobbliness around. On the opposite side, if you would like to go with even more stabilization, you can go with most stable option of stabilization and stabilize your video even more, but like I said, I wouldn't recommend that. Moving on to our second most shakier clip here. So we got the same process. Click here on stabilize and recommended. As you can see, the video is being processed and analyzed, so we just have to wait a couple of seconds. If we go and play our original clip and then stabilized one, you'll see that there is a much of a difference. Again, like I said, if you think that there is too much of a wobbliness at the edges of the video, then you should consider to go with minimum cut option. At the end, we have our normal selfie video. Again, same process, stabilize and see what the result is. That looks pretty good to me, so this is how simple and easy it is to turn your shaky videos into smooth clips so they are ready to post. Audio enhancement. As you see, I have already imported my video where I'm talking something about my favorite features in CapCut. Now, I would like to improve my audio quality of my video. Note that I don't have a special microphone and I'm just talking to my iPhone here. Now, the first thing I usually do is turn on this icon here in the player window. What this will do is it will bring up a bigger audio indicator as you see here. So if I play my video, it will show you how low or how high your audio is. In this video today, I would like to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut for 2024. As you maybe noticed, if you are paying attention to the indicator, that the volume of my audio was between -6 and 0, which is kind of a bit too high. The safe area that you want to aim is between -12 and -6. We have more options to fix this. If we zoom in a little bit, you will actually see the audio waves are here at the bottom. And you can also see the peaks which are colored to yellow and red, and that is what we don't want. Now, one way to fix this is to highlight the clip, go up to audio, go down and click on normalize loudness. That will actually normalize your audio, and as you can see, we got rid of those yellow and red peaks that we had before. This feature will not only reduce the volume if it's too loud, but it will also increase the volume if the audio is too quiet. The second way to do it, I'm just going to click Command Z to go back, is to go up to audio again and reduce the volume with this slider here. So we can get rid of those critical red audio peaks. Just so you know, sometimes we also want to separate the audio from the video, and we can do that really easy in CapCut. All you have to do is right click on the clip and hit extract audio as you see here, and the audio will drop under your video clip. That way you have more control over audio, like you can also see the waves a little bit more here, and where there's no wave it means you stop talking and you can easier make the cut points there. Now I will hit Command Z again to join the video with audio. The second feature what we can do to enhance the audio is reduce noise. That really helps if we record the video outside where there are maybe cars around, birds or wind. So that way the CapCut will try to minimize all those disturbing sounds. So let's hit that. Although I've recorded that video in my apartment where there is no other sounds, and I will also apply normalize loudness so we can compare the difference. Let us play the original first and then with enhanced audio to see the difference. In this video today, I would like to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut for 2024. In this video today, I would like to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut for 2024. The difference is quite obvious. Another way to increase or decrease the volume is if you go to the bottom of the clip on the timeline, where you see that thin line, and if you grab it, you can drag it up or down. But I usually don't use this option because we have more control up here with this volume handle. So basically in terms of audio enhancement in CapCut, that is really all you need to know. Titles and captions. I've imported my video already and drag it into the timeline here. In this video I'm talking about my 5 favorite features in CapCut. Let's just play it through so you can hear what I'm saying. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut, and I'm going to teach you how to use them. Actually, I posted this video on my YouTube channel, and if you like, you can check it out. But let me show you what we can do with this video in terms of titles and captions. Now, basic editing or adding text to video is really simple. You just need to go up to left upper side, click on text, and then click on this plus icon so you can add the text to your video. From here, we have a lot of options. First, of course, we need to change the text. And in our case, I would like to write exactly the same what I'm saying in my video. So let's hear the first part again. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features. Okay, we will not write the whole text, but we will enter just important points of the video. So I will write 5 favorite features. We can shrink the text if it's too big, and then we can also change the font here. I will choose this one here, which is called Montserrat Extra Bold. What I will also do, I'm going to put text features underneath 5 favorite. Just put the cursor here and hit enter. Then drag the text down a little bit. Like I said, from here we can do many things with the text if we highlight the text. We can change colors. We can change character spacing, line distance. Here you can choose from many different pre-made styles, which are really cool, and a lot of celebrities are using those. Here you have scale to make text bigger or smaller, position for left, right, up and down, and you can also rotate the text. If you want, you can reduce the opacity. The one I use a lot is stroke, which make a line around the text in a color you like, and you can adjust the thickness of it. Then you can apply a background behind the text and make the adjustments like opacity, rounded edges, height, offsets. What I will use in this case is a shadow. I will set the opacity to around 95, blurriness to 20, distance to 7, and angle to -42. You can also curve your text at the bottom here. But we want the text to appear right after when I say the right words, so let us listen again. Today I'm going to share with you my... Here is the right moment. Just drag the text to your playhead. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut. That's good. Now, after 5 favorite features, I say in CapCut, and I would like to use the text also for this. The easiest way to keep the same font and style is to copy the text. We can do that either by holding Command or Ctrl+C and Command Ctrl+V to paste it. Or you can just simply press Alt Option key and drag it up. We have to cut the lower text after I say 5 favorite features. Share with you my 5 favorite features. To cut it, just press Command or Ctrl+B, and you can just delete the right part by clicking W on your keyboard. Then just move the copy text right till it snaps to the playhead after the first text and write in CapCut. So if we play this now, it looks like this. My 5 favorite features in CapCut, and you can delete the rest part of the text. Now this looks cool already, but let us make it even better. What we will do is we will animate the text. So let's go up to animation and on In tab, choose the animation you like. As you see here, we have a ton of options. Some of them require a pro membership and others are free. So for this case, I will use this one here, which is called Glitch, but you can choose whatever you like. 5 favorite. Let's see how it looks. I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features. Okay, so this is our in or opening animation. What we can do here is we can adjust the duration of the animation. If we think it's too long, we can go faster by decrease the duration or increase it. And the same goes for the out or closing animation. Just go up on Out tab, choose the animation and set the duration. We can do the same for our second text, but maybe just change the style of animation. Let us check how it looks with those animations. To share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut, and I'm going to teach you how to use them. For the basic edit, that looks great to me already. But we are not finished yet, because I would like to show you one of the best features in CapCut, which is auto captions. We can delete this text now and move to the beginning. Then go up and click on auto captions. Here you can choose your language and then just hit generate. And in just seconds your captions are created. They look like this if you play it. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut, and I'm going to teach you how to use them. Good, but not really stylish, right? But luckily for us, we can style them as we like. Just click on the text and go to the right side. Now note that if this apply to all is checked, then all the adjustments we will do, all of them will be applied to all the text. But if we turn this off, the changes will be visible only on the text that is highlighted. But for now, let's just turn that back on. First, we will change the font. I usually turn on the uppercase and scale them a little. What I don't like is to have this long text on the screen here. So I want to break that down to only 2 to 3 words. We can do that if we go up to Captions. I will click right after I'm going to, and then just hit enter and the text will drop down to the next line. We can do that for the whole text. And when you're done, you can animate the text like we did before already. Highlight the text for which you want to apply the animation. We don't need to do it for all of them. Pick just few and choose animation. I will also add some shadow to the text so it stands out more. Let's leave it like this. Let's see what we created. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut and I'm going to teach you how to use them. Let me show you what we will cover. The first one is remove background, and not only from humans but also cars, animals and also other objects. That looks pretty good if you ask me, but if you want you can take it even further. You see that templates tab here? Let us click on that. CapCut made it really easy for us and installed ready-made templates, and like animations, there are pro templates and free ones. But I'm sure you'll find the one you like. I will go with this one here and shrink the text a little bit. Let us see how it turned out. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite features in CapCut and I'm going to teach you how to use them. Let me show you what we will cover. The first one is remove background, and not only from humans but also cars, animals and also other objects. What about that? That template has even emojis built in. How cool is that? Keyframes. I'm going to teach you step by step how to do it in CapCut, from positioning the object from A to B, scaling the graphics or zooming the video, changing the color of the object or video, and how to smoothen the transitions of the objects. Keyframes are foundation for all motion graphics and they apply to almost all existing programs like Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects and others. What keyframe does is determine the beginning or the end of a change of an object or a video. But let me rather show you that in real action. First, I'm going to show you how to move object from point A to point B. I've imported a grid background and a car to my timeline already, and what we need to do is give a car a surface or a road. So go up to text, add default text, then hold the shift key and tap the minus sign a couple of times on your keyboard so you get this straight line through the whole screen. We can also add a little glow to our road. Scroll down, click on glow, select the right option and set the range to 100 and intensity to 35. Move it down and extend it to the same length as the other clips. Move the car to the line and make it a little bit smaller. Now, to move the car from point A to point B, we have to move the playhead to the beginning and click keyframe on position. Then move your playhead to, let's say, 3-second mark. Remember the wipe number position, which is -630. Move the car to point B. Check the Y position number and adjust it to -630 if needed. So if we play this now, we have nice car movement from point A to point B. With that method, you can animate whatever you want. Let's say you want to animate the sun going over the village. I have this village here and I want the sun to go from left to right side as a sunrise to sunset. I've also imported animated sun from Canva, so I'm going to drag it down. First, we have to get rid of the green screen. So go up to Remove BG, Chroma Key, click on the screen and set the intensity on 45. Shrink the sun and drag it to the left side. Then go to Basic and click Keyframe on Transform. Or you could just click Keyframe on Position. Move your playhead to the end. Delete the right part of the sun clip with pressing W on your keyboard. Drag the sun to the right side and keyframe will be created automatically. If we play it now, you will see that the sun is moving in a straight line, what we don't want. We want it to move in a curved line. So let's move playhead to the middle of the clip. Move sun up a little bit and keyframe will be created. But again, if we play the clip, the sun is moving up and down, but in a linear line. To make the sun move in a curved line, we need to right-click on the sun, select Y-axis, highlight the keyframe and click on Auto Curve. Then drag the right handle to the right a bit and left to left a bit. That will change the sun movement from linear to curved. Check it out. To make this thing even better, we can play around with opacity a little bit as the sun rises and when it's going down. So move to the beginning, highlight the village, go to Blend, drag the opacity down to 20 and click Keyframe. Then move to the 2-second mark, drag the opacity to 100, go to 3-second mark, click on Keyframe at 100, then move playhead to the end and drag the opacity to 20 again. What we did is we created a sunlight effect on a sunrise and sunset. Let us move to scaling and zooming. As you see here, I've imported a plane which now seems to be far in a distance. But with the scaling, we will create a moving effect and we will think that the play is moving towards us. So, on the beginning of the clip, highlight the plane, click Keyframe on Transform, and move the playhead to the middle. Go on Scale, and scale it to around 85, and pull the plane up so it's aligned with the line. We can do the same with the video if we want to zoom in or zoom out to get more attention. I have drone footage here that I got on pexels.com. Highlight the clip, move your playhead on the beginning and click Keyframe on Scale. Then move your playhead forward a little bit and click Keyframe on Scale again. Then move 10 frames forward. Increase the scale and keyframe will be created automatically. Then move your playhead. Click on keyframe at the same scale. Move 10 frames forward and reduce the scale on 100% again. If we play it now, you'll see a nice zoom and zoom out effect. Next thing what we can do with the keyframes is changing the colors. We can do that with the video or with the graphics. But let us stay with our drone footage here and say we want to go from color video to white and black. We can use the same keyframes as we did for zoom in and zoom out. So move to the beginning and move up to the right side and click on Adjustment. Scroll down, click keyframe on Saturation and do the same for the second keyframe. Then, for the third keyframe, drag the saturation slider to -50. For the fourth keyframe, click keyframe also on -50, and for the last keyframe, set the saturation to 0. We will go from color video to white and black, and back to color video. Now let me show you how to change the color in graphics. We will create a white ball by going up to Text and write a dot. Increase the font size to 100 and drag it to the left side. Extend it to the end. Go to the right side, scroll down and click Keyframe on position. Move playhead to the 2-second mark and drag the ball to right hand side. Then again at 4th-second mark, move the ball back to the start position. Move your playhead also to the beginning and copy the ball by pressing Command or Ctrl+C and paste it with pressing Ctrl or Command+V. Go to the right side and change the color. Then scroll down to opacity, drag it all the way down and click on keyframe. Move to the second keyframe, increase opacity to 100, jump to the last keyframe and also click keyframe on 100%. If you check it now, you'll notice that the ball changes its color from white to blue. The last thing I would like to show you is how to smooth the movement of the graphic with the keyframe animation graphs. We will start with our white ball, but as you see, I've added keyframe on every 2-second mark and moved the ball to other side at every keyframe. So if you play it now, you'll see that the ball is moving with the same speed all the time. To smoothen this movement, we have to right-click on the ball and choose Show Keyframe Animation. Make sure you're on X-axis. Then go to the first keyframe, so it is marked blue, and click on Auto Curve. Do that for all keyframes, so you get this nice curved line. Then right-click and choose Hide Keyframe Animation. Play it now and you'll see the difference. Much smoother, right? One more thing I would like to show you. I have this nice little car here in our timeline and I would like that he stops at point B. But if you only put keyframes like this, one at the beginning and one at the end, you will see that the car stops suddenly, which looks unnatural. If we want to smoothen this stop, we again need to right-click, show keyframe animation, click on X-axis, highlight the last keyframe, go to this graph icon here and choose Ease Out 3 animation. And with that, we smoothen the car stop so it looks really realistic. Now let's say we want to animate the car as if it just drove off. We need to highlight the car, right-click, show keyframe animation, then at X we need to uncheck the Ease Out animation, drag the car out of the screen, and with the last keyframe highlighted, go to Graphs again and choose Ease In 1 animation. So now we've created a realistic animation of the car that just drove off. Slow motion and speed ramps. We will learn how to slow down the clips, how to speed it up and combine these two. So we are here in CapCut and I have a clip of my son going home from basketball court and tapping the ball. Let me tell you that this footage was taken at 60 frames per second. This means that if we have a project in CapCut which is at 30 frames per second, we have additional frames that we can use to slow down our clip. So if we recorded the video at 60 frames per second and our project is at 30, that means we have to divide 30 with 60, which is 0.5. And that is how much we can slow down our footage just to be on a safe side. So let us try to slow down our footage. It is really simple to do that in CapCut. Just highlight the clip and go up to speed. Here we see our current speed of the footage, which is normal speed and on what we were recording. If we want to slow down this clip, we just need to drag this slider to the left, and like I said before, to be on a safe side, we will slow down to 0.5. As you see on the timeline, our clip just got longer because it will play slower than normal. And if we play it now, you can see that we created this cinematic slow motion clip. But let's say we slow down our clip even more than just 0.5. Let's say we set it on 0.1. And if we play it now, you can clearly notice that the slow motion is not clear and smooth anymore, and that is because video plays frame by frame, and now with this setting we have some pauses in between, which makes our video glitchy and not smooth. On the other hand, we could stay on 0.1, I wouldn't recommend that though, but in that case we could go to this feature here, Smooth Slow Motion, which corrects our video with missing frames. Here we have two options. First one is frame blending. This one generates our video faster but at lower quality. And the second one, optical flow, which is better quality but it takes a bit longer to process it. Let us try to go with this second option and see what we get. So CapCut just finished processing and we can play that slow-mo now. If I'm honest, I didn't expect it to be that good. You can hardly see that there are some glitches between the frames, so that is really something. But we are not done yet with speed features in CapCut. Let us move that to a normal speed again. Then if we move to this curve tab here, you can see that we have some pre-made graphs here, and if we are new, we can go with those and play around a little bit. So if you take a look at the graphs here, the curves tells you how the speed of the clip will go. So here you see that the video will start in a normal speed, then it will increase the speed, then it will drop the speed and again return to the normal. Let us try this one. Looks pretty good to me. But if you want to create your own curve, you can also do that by going to Custom. Here you can see the bullet points, which you can drag up and increase the speed. Or drag them down to get some slow motion. You can also add new points by pressing this plus icon, or delete them with minus. Now we have a graph which is almost identical to the one we used before, and if you wish to change it, you can drag those points how you like it. You can start slow and then fast like that. So definitely something you can play around and maybe adjust it to your music. Movie transitions. As you see, we have a new project here in CapCut and I already placed some drone footage into my timeline. If you still don't know where to find the royalty-free footage, then I suggest you to go to pexels.com or pixabay.com, where you'll find a lot of free quality footage that you can use for your editing. Okay, here I have a couple of different drone footage which follow each other, but I would like to find the right transition to spice up or upgrade those clips. And basically that is really easy in CapCut. You just have to go up on transitions and find the one you like and it's the right for your clips. If you click here on this arrow, you can choose and search among different segments. But if I play my clips, you'll see that the drone moves forward, and in this case I will use a transition that I also use a lot, and it's called pull-in transition. Now you can pull the transition down and drop it in between the clips, or you can move your playhead to the spot you wish to place the transition and then just click on this plus icon like that. On your right side, you can also adjust the duration of the transition. I will drag it to 0.8 seconds. Let's see how it looks. If the footage would be in reverse order, for example, if drone would move backwards, I would probably use pull-out transition. But because all of my clips are moving forward, I will drag down pull-in transition in between all my clips and adjust the duration. So if we play it now, we have something like this. Really nice and cinematic transitions between the clips. One more thing I would like to show you here. If, for example, we are editing video for YouTube and we have a video where we are talking about something and then we just want to jump to a B-roll clip of what we are talking about. In my case here, I'm talking about Ali Abdal's video editing and I'm showing how to do things. And to make this more interesting, rather to just have a classic jump from clip to clip, we can also use transition here. There are two ways to do it. The first one is that we highlight the B-roll clip, go up to animations and choose one of in animations. I will use fade in for this case and set the duration to 0.4 seconds. And we get this nice transition to our B-roll. The second option we can do, let's hit Command Z here to get rid of this animation and go up to transitions. Let's say we want to use this glitch transition here. And if we drag it down, we cannot place it anywhere because there is no cut to fit in. So what we need to do here is to place our playhead to the beginning of our B-roll, highlight the main clip and cut it. We can do that by clicking this icon here or just by clicking Ctrl or Command plus B. But if we want to drag that clip up to our B-roll, look what happens. Our right clip snaps to our previous clip, but that is what we don't want. To solve this, we just need to enable this main timeline magnet here. If we do that, you'll see that our clip will stay at the previous position. So this way we can drag our transition down and place it in between our clips like that. And if we play it, you can see that we have a sweet transition between our main clip and our B-roll. So the difference between the transitions and animation is that we can use transition only in between the clips. On the other hand, animations will animate our clip and we can set in animation of the clip and also out animation. For example, if this would be our end clip, we could set out animation by going up to animations, click on Out tab and choose the one we like. I will choose fade out and this is how it looks. Nice ending. Masking. If we go to CapCut, we now have two images here. The first one is bright used paper background and the other is blue square. But as you see, the blue square is on top of our paper background as an overlay. Let us increase the image to cover the whole screen. Now go to the right side and click on Mask. So if we choose horizontal mask, this will split screen on two halves, so we see the both pictures. And the same would be if we would have video clips instead of pictures. What we can do is we can move the line up and down. We can rotate it and move left and right. We can also blur the edge of the mask so we have nice blend transition between those two. If you need, you can also choose different shapes like circle, heart, and so on. You can also reverse the mask. For example, if you choose circle and you click on this reverse icon, it will invert the mask and now you have transparent circle. But let me first show you a mask trick on how you can reveal the text on your clip. I got this clip of a man walking at the sunrise here. We will first write some text. So go up to text, add default text and write something. I will write sunrise, which is kind of suitable for this clip. I will change the font, make it a little bigger and move it to the right side. Extend the text to the end of the clip. Now, if you want to apply the mask to the text, you'll see that we don't have that option. That is why we have to right-click, create a compound clip, and then if you go up to the video, you'll see that the mask option is here. So click on mask, choose horizontal and rotate it to 90 degrees like that. Set the feather to 5 and drag the mask all the way to the right so you don't see the text. Click keyframe on the mask, then move the playhead a few frames forward and click on keyframe again. Keep moving your playhead forward a few times, then drag the mask to the man's body and keyframes will be created automatically. Keep doing that till the whole text reveals, and at the end you should get something like this. Now, we can do it even better if we remove the background. Let's delete the text, go to the beginning and duplicate the clip. We have to go up to remove background, click on auto removal, so CapCut can remove the background from the walking man. Then add the text and repeat the process from before. When you're done, drag the text under the cutout clip, create a compound clip, go up to video and click on mask. Choose horizontal, set feather to 5, drag the mask to the right and click keyframe on the mask. Then again, for every time you move your playhead forward, you also move the mask line so keyframe gets created. When you're finished, you can play and check it how it turned out. But there is one question that I get asked most often, and that is how to put talking head like this into the video. Well, if you were paying attention at the beginning of this lesson what masking really is, then you get the clue. So first we need to put the main clip on our timeline and then we pull a talking head video above the main clip. With talking head still selected, go up to mask and choose circle. Move the circle where the head is, and that is basically it. Then you just have to position the head where you want it to be. But if we do that still on mask, you will only move the circle and not also the head. That is why we need to right click, create a compound clip, and now we can move it around as we like. There is a million possibilities what we can do with mask, but for now those are the fundamentals that we need to learn at the beginning. Again, as I always say, try it, practice it, because practice makes master. Color grading. Now I divide color correction into two parts. One is when we want to correct the footage to look better, and the other is when we want to adjust the footage to a certain mood. Whether is that a cinematic look, or a happy moment, or a serious video. So for this second part, we need to first ask ourselves what we want to achieve with the color grading in order to go to the right direction. Because, for example, if you want to have a serious documentary video and we edit the footage in a bright and colorful way, that is just not going to work. It will look confusing. But the best way to learn is by doing it. So let us jump into CapCut. I have this cool drone clip here of someone driving a motorbike through the nice countryside alone on the road. And what I want to achieve here is to get this cinematic mystery movie clip. So that way I have to aim to a more darker look and less saturation. Because this lesson is all about color correction, we'll mostly use adjustment feature, which is up here. And let me just explain really quick here at the basic tab, which I use most often. Now the first thing we can do, and it does a really good job, is this auto adjust feature here. And if we click on that, CapCut automatically corrects the footage. And you can already see a big difference from our original footage. You can also adjust the intensity here. Let's turn this off for now. Then we have a color match, which is a pro feature, and with this you can copy any movie or photo coloring to your video. Really cool feature. Then we have LUT, which is color grading preset that you can use on your photos and videos. Moving further down, we have General Adjustments tab. We have a temperature, which makes footage cooler or warmer. Hue, if we go left, we can get a green tone, and on the right, we get more purple tone. And then we have saturation. If we drag this to the left, we will get black and white effect. And if we go right, we will boost our colors. Then we have other tools like exposure, which is self-explanatory. Contrast is the difference between the brightest part of the scene and the darkest. Then we have highlights. Shadow will increase the brightness of the shadow. Whites and blacks will increase those. And the last in this part is brilliance, which kind of brightens the clip and make it better what CapCut thinks it is optimal. Then we have the ones I usually don't use except the last one, which is vignette, and it does this cool cinematic look and throw the focus to the subject in the middle. As you see, we also have apply to all button here, and if you click on that, it will apply all the adjustments that you made here to all of other clips you have on your timeline. And the other button is set as preset, and with this you can save your own color preset which you can use on other projects. Let's do some changes here and save it as a preset. So if we want to use that LUT or preset on other projects, all we have to do is go up to the left side to Adjustment, and on Adjustment tab go to Preset, and you'll find your last saved LUT. If we go to the right side again, you'll see some other features like HSL, curves and color wheel. If I'm honest, I almost never use those, maybe HSL here and there. HSL is really good when you want to expose some colors. Let me show you here with this second clip. For example, if we want to expose a blue sky, we would choose this blue color here and drag the saturation all the way to the right side and lightness all the way to the left, and you can see how this blue sky really pops out. So let's go back and try to turn this original clip to a cinematic movie trailer. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a filter. We go up to Filters and down to Movies. You can choose from different filters here, but which I like is the one called Green Orange. Click on plus icon to drop it down and make sure to extend it to the end of the clip. You can also adjust the strength of the filter here. Then highlight the clip and go back to basic. Now we can play around a bit with those sliders. For cinematic look, I will drag all those three down a bit to -10. And also highlights and shadow to, let's say, -6. Then I will scroll down to vignette and I see that it's already on 20, which is good. Then I will go back to video, mask, choose mirror, and drag the sliders up a bit so we get this cinematic movie look. Let us check the difference now between the original clip and the one that we just edited. I think that the difference is more than obvious, so like I always say, you won't master it without the practice. Motion tracking. I have two clips here on which we will add some motion tracking. On the first one, we have a guy driving a quad through the desert, and what I want to do is I want to pin the text on the driver so the text would actually track and stick to him through the desert. So let us add some text. I will write Desert Ranger. I will change the font to my favorite one, Montserrat. I will also change the color. Maybe we can add some background too. Nah, that doesn't look good. Let's uncheck that. I will make the text a little smaller and stretch it to the end of the clip because I want to have the text throughout the whole clip. Then go up to tracking, click on it and you will see that motion tracking icon here. Click on it and then you get this yellow square which actually wants from us to set the tracking object. Now what we select as a tracking object is really important. If we would put, for example, here on a white surface, it wouldn't track anything because there is no particular color to track, but if we put it on this black quad here, it will do the job perfectly. Let's adjust the square a little bit. Then if you go to the right side, you'll see the scale and distance toggle buttons, but I usually turn that off because I've learned that if you try to track all those things at once, it will messes the tracking completely. So I will turn this off and hit start button so the tracking process can start. Now it's finished, so let us see how it turned out. It looks really good and professional. If you want, we can also set the in and out animation for the text that appears above the driver. Go up to animations and choose the one you like for in and out animation. Let us try something different with our second clip. We can shorten the clip a little. Instead of normal text, we will use pre-made text template. We will look under the title. Let's take this one here and stretch it to the whole length. Write what you want. I will shrink it a little. Then go to the beginning because we want to track the text from the start. Go up to tracking, choose motion tracking and set the target to track. Uncheck scale and distance toggles and hit start. Let's check how it turned out. Another cool CapCut feature in the box. And that is basically all what you need to know about motion tracking. Graphic animation. So here in CapCut I already imported some backgrounds and some graphics. Let's drag this background down to the timeline. First, we will create a straight line which will be our road for the car that we will animate. Go to the text and write dashes a couple of times. Then go to character and set it to -3, so we get this nice continuous line. Change the color to black, uncheck uniform scale and make it wider. And also add some glow to it. Move it down to the bottom. Extend it to the end and go back to media. Drag down the car. Make it smaller. and because it is turned to the opposite direction that we want, we will turn it around by clicking on this mirror icon. Position the car to the black line, which is road in our case. Move playhead forward a little and click keyframe on transform. We could also click keyframe only on position here, but I usually just click keyframe on transform because then I capture all keyframes. Then move playhead almost to the end. Now remember the Y value here, because this is our road, and drag the car to the right side and adjust the Y position value. So if we play this now, we have created a nice car movement. But if you were paying attention, you saw that the movement of the car was linear, which means it was moving with the same speed from point A to point B. But we can make this movement more realistic and smooth. Right-click and click on Show Keyframes Animations. Click on X position, mark the first keyframe and click on Auto Curve. Do the same for the second keyframe. Close it, and if you play it now, you'll see the difference. The car was accelerating and stopping smoothly. We can also animate a car so it starts fast and stops slowly. Right-click. Let's go back to the previous position. Highlight the second keyframe. Go to Graphs and choose this graph here, which is called Cubic Out Animation. So if we play it now, you'll see a car stopping smooth and slowly. To do the opposite of that, we need to choose Cubic In Graph Animation. That way the car will start slowly and accelerate. Let's do one more animation. I will drop down this black grid background to the timeline and extend it a little. Now I've imported two graphics animations from Canva, clouds with rain and the sun. First, I will drag down the clouds above the background. Because the graphic is on green screen, we have to remove that. So go to Remove BG, Chroma key, choose Color Picker and click on the screen. Set the intensity to around 50 and shadow to around 35. Make them smaller and drag it a little higher. Move playhead to this position and drag down the sun. Let us remove green screen again and also make it smaller. Go to Basic, drag the sun out of the screen and click keyframe on Transform. Move playhead forward for around 2 to 3 seconds and drag it above the clouds like that. Right now we have this animation. But let's make it even better. Move the sun to this position just before it starts to cover the clouds. Highlight the clouds and click keyframe on opacity. Then move the playhead to the position when the sun covers the clouds. With clouds still highlighted, turn the opacity all the way down. So, to play this now, we have animated the sun which slowly covers the rainy clouds. If we want, we can also smoothen the sound transition with the right click, show keyframe animations, go on X, highlight the second keyframe, go on Graphs and choose Cubic Out Animation. If you're asking yourself where can you get animated graphics like we used here, you just have to go to canva.com and create a free account. Then just choose a project, and in our case we need a 16:9 ratio for YouTube. First, change background color because we need a green screen background. Then go to the elements and type what you want to find. Click on graphics, go to this filter and click on animated checkbox. Then find the graphic you like and click on it. All you have to do now is download the graphics as PNG and import it in CapCut. Those are the basics of graphic animations. Exporting files. I'm going to walk you through all the different export settings and options so you feel ready to share it. So we have our video here which we are done with editing, and we would like to export it so it's ready for social media or something else. We can simply go up to the blue export button, or we can click Ctrl or Command plus E. In the export window you can title your video whatever you want. You can also choose where you want to save the file in your computer. I always choose my desktop and then I can move it to some other folder if I need to. All what you see here are default settings and you can change them if you like. Here is a tip. If you need a video to post it on social media, always choose 1080p resolution, because if you upload it with a higher resolution, they will always compress the file and that sometimes messes the quality really bad. In 99% cases I export it in 1080p. But if you need a higher quality, you can easily go to 2, 4 or even 8K. The bitrate is kind of a digital version of film projector. Instead of physically run frames through the film projector, digital videos are processed by bits. The higher the bitrate, the more quickly the data in your video is being processed. But I usually stick with what CapCut recommends. Codec compresses your video so it saves space on your computer and it's easier to send it to others. Format is your file type. By default is on MOV, but you can change it also to MP4. The frame rate determines how many frames we have per second. By default is set to 30, but you can go up to 60. If you do some slow motion, I would recommend 60 because that will reduce the motion blur on your video, otherwise leave it on 30. If you want, you can also export audio only and you can change your file if you need to. If you are not a pro CapCut user and if you used some pro features, there will be a pop-up saying that you can't export the video. So you'll have to remove those pro features, or if you want, you can upgrade your account. When you're done, just click export button and the video will be saved on your computer. CapCut will also give you an option to post the video directly on TikTok or YouTube. And now that you know all the export settings, you're ready to post your video anywhere.